A little bit about the Baylor game. First of all, I thought we did some good things. A lot of explosive plays on offense. Bird Ficklin obviously came in the game and gave us some spark and some, really ran the football exceptionally well. He only carried it, I think it was 6 times, but about 165 yards. So he was a bright spot for us. Wayshawn Parker goes over 100 yards again and really has continuing to separate himself in the backfield from other guys and doing a good job. Not a lot in the throw game, didn't need to. We were real committed to the run in this game and ended up piling up almost 400 yards of offense, rushing offense. So a lot of good things. Offensively. Offensive line played well again. That's been a theme the entire season. Defensively, certainly gave up more points and yards than you'd like, but scored a touchdown, set up another touchdown with a pick six and an interception. I think it ended up inside the 10-yard line. So good stuff there. Baylor, as I mentioned, going into the game, outstanding receiving corps, and feel no different after the game. That's the best receiving corps that we've played, and the quarterback is really good from the pocket. They threw for a ton of yards, 400 plus, but we were able to come away with a victory. Special teams, kind of a non-factor. Not a lot going on special teams-wise with either side, and so that was good to get the win. They're, like I said, they got some good players. They got size, athleticism, and speed and length and all that. So they were certainly a team that until we started to separate there in the second half, it was a pretty competitive game. Coming up this week, Kansas State back home, final home game of the year, senior day. So we get to recognize our seniors, and it's a good kickoff time, 2 o'clock. So we like that. A little bit of a roll here. We got some momentum going into this game, and got to try to hang on to that. All starts with a great week of preparation. It starts today with that, and we're in pretty good health. We'll find out as the week goes on. With some guys that might be a little questionable, but for where we are in the big picture, health-wise, got no complaints this time of the year. So, questions?
This one's from Justin Kyle. He says, great win Saturday with about 400 yards passing given up in the last game. What's your plan to tighten the screws for this week's game?
Yeah, well, like I said, going in, they're a talented receiving corps. We expected them to, they've been throwing for over 300 a week all season long, and so it wasn't a surprise that we were tested deep. In fact, gosh, it must have been 15 fade balls thrown in that game, 50-50 balls at least. I mean, it was one after another, and so we needed to make a few more plays than we did. There's no doubt about that. But we've been good in pass coverage all season long. We're still amongst the leaders in the conference in both pass yardage given up and pass defense efficiency. And so just got to keep working at it. We'll miss Scooby, obviously, the first half of this game, which is not ideal for us. He's been a very consistent player for us this year, so that'll give other guys opportunity, though. So.
On Saturday night, you had talked about how Devin has just been banged up enough that it's still questionable each week. Is there a situation where Bird starts this game or the last game, or kind of where do you kind of see that? And is it still just kind of up in the air?
Day by day is what we're taking it, and that's the best answer I can give you. If I knew any more than that, I would share most of that with you, or some of that. But it's just a situation where Devin. There's a lot of physicality in his game, with all the runs he does, and scrambling from the pocket, in addition to the design QB runs. So he takes some physical. It takes a physical toll on him, but he's a tough kid. He loves it. He's not. He loves running the football, and he's been effective at it. So we'll just see what happens. But certainly there is a scenario where you could see Bird. I'm sure of that, but we'll see.
You guys have blown out teams in each of your wins.
Mm-hmm.
Are style points kind of consideration for you guys with the college football playoff?
No, I don't believe in humiliating anybody or trying to run up the score. When you're playing a throw team like Baylor, no score. You got to have a 4-score lead to be safe because they throw the ball so effective they can strike from anywhere, and so that's a little different than if you're playing a team that is a run-oriented team and you get up a few scores. But no, to answer your question, I don't subscribe to that. We don't subscribe to that. There's been games this year where we certainly could have piled on more points, but I just don't think it's not who we are. Yeah.
Morning, Coach.
Morning, PK.
Now, I know you're going to say your focus is on Kansas State.
Absolutely, 100%, and nothing else matters.
You don't even know that it's your birthday this week because it's all just Kansas State.
I can't believe you said that. Okay.
But I'm going to ask you this question anyway. The way your team is playing right now, which obviously is at an extremely high level, do you think right now that it is playoff worthy?
You know what? We're going to take things one game at a time, PK, and see if we can see how we do against Kansas State. But I'll tell you right now that this team has a lot of confidence. We've got a lot of momentum going right now. The leadership is outstanding, and we think we're playing good football. Is it good enough? We'll find out. We got to take care of our business first, starting with this week. And when the dust settles and the regular season's over, we'll see where we're at and what kind of opportunities are there.
You'd mentioned that Devin in that situation sort of day-to-day, obviously with him just being hampered with the injury. Is there any scenario this season where you shut him down just because, you're worried about his long-term health or is the injury, I guess, severe enough for it to render him just shut down for the season?
No, and we would. That's not my decision, obviously. That would be a medical decision. And so you're asking, going forward, are we going to shut him down? Or
is there any scenario where that happens? Is his injury severe enough in that case?
As it stands right now, no. No, as it stands right now. But you got to be able to function and be, he gets pretty sore and pretty beat up, as I mentioned. And so, but no, we don't feel that he's been put in harm's way any more than the next guy as far as long-term and that type of thing.
Kyle, after the game, you mentioned that Devin, his mastery of the offense and just his experience in the offense is what led to the decision to keep him out there. But how do you balance that versus how he's performing, how he's executing in terms of how, playing him, I guess? Yeah,
well, it's all in the equation, during it's game by game and within the game itself. When we feel that the game is out of reach, then we've tried to get him out in those situations, and we've supplemented him, as you noticed, throughout the game with Bird. Sometimes they're in there. A lot of the time they're in there both at the same time, but Devin doesn't have a lot of a role when Bird is at the quarterback. He was more of a guy that just is window dressing out there. But we just rely on the medical staff to help with those decisions, and as long as they say he's good to go and he says he's good to go, then we just try to do things as intelligently as we can, and like I said, when the game seems to be in the bag, so to speak, then we try to get him out of there.
Kyle, at the beginning of the season, you said that this could be the greatest offensive line you've ever had. 10 games in, have they met expectations?
100%.
Asked them?
100%. Surpassed
expectations?
I would say as advertised, exactly what we expected, and if anything, maybe even better than we expected. We're second in the nation in rushing the football, and that's a real good indicator of the physicality and the talent level of your front.
And then, did you happen to see the catch that went viral by a certain player that will go nameless?
Certain high school player?
A certain high school player at Rice Eccles Stadium?
Absolutely. That was very impressive for that, whoever that guy was. And it's as good a play as I've ever seen at any level. I don't think I can get in trouble for saying that because we still don't know who the guy is. But anyway, yeah, good point. Thank you for bringing that up.
Kyle, I kind of wanted to ask you a big picture question. I know you mentioned you're focused on Kansas State, but it seems like you have 2 starting caliber quarterbacks on your roster, and you obviously view them very highly. There's been scenarios in the past where teams like Texas have had Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning on their roster long term. Given just the way the offseason goes, is there a scenario where you can see Bird and Devin staying on the roster next season together, just given the circumstances of how the portal is and all that? We
sure hope so. And that's remains to be seen, and we'll, that will be addressed. Obviously, they've tweaked the recruiting a little bit now in the dead periods, where December is now completely a dead period, and the portal does not open until January now, and so you have a little more time after the regular season to sort those things out than before. Before, you'd have to start those conversations now with a lot of your players as far as what their plans are and that type of thing. But with what Bird's done this year and what Devin's done for that matter, we're going to have to really step up to hang on to those guys, and that's really an administrative thing, not my. It's not in my court. That's what kind of resources we can come up with to keep the roster together, and it'd be interesting to do the study. My guess is if you took a study of Power 4 football rosters, the $25 million rosters, the 20, and with the average win-loss record, it would just follow suit exactly with the resources available. So yeah, everyone's trying to step up in that regard.
Who's the better thrower between the two?
Devin, they have different styles. Devin gets the ball out extremely quick. He's got a quick release. He's able to go through the progressions a little quicker than Bird because he's so familiar with them. Bird maybe has a little more zip on the ball, a tad more accuracy at times, but they're different types of throwers from the pocket, and they're both outstanding, but just different. So I don't know if you can say one's better than the other. They both do it their way.
Jason Stokes Jr. only played 13 snaps on Saturday, but he had that good pass breakup. What have you seen from his development that has given you guys confidence to put a true freshman out there versus some of these pass-heavy teams?
Yeah, well, he's progressed ever since he got here. We obviously liked him out of high school. We wouldn't have recruited him. We thought he had some real upside, and you're right. He made a really nice play in the game on Saturday, and it was an opportunity to put him in the game when we got to what was it, 49-20, I think, is where we felt the game was pretty much out of reach, and gave him some opportunity, and a lot of that was Scooby, going out early, that gave us an opportunity to put other guys in, and then Jason was next in line, and so that it was kind of a chain reaction. But I can tell you right now, we have a lot of confidence in Jason, and he's a guy that, as I mentioned, has really gotten better week by week and works hard and has great attitude. And Sharif, Coach Shaw just thought it was time for him to maybe get some game action and show what he can do. Is that it? Okay, guys, thank you.